Welcome back, and we're now on Module 3, Nurturing Your Leads with 8 Touches in 3 Days Automation. So you'll learn quickly that the fortune is in the follow-up. And if you're not following up, you're leaving a lot of money on the table. And I'll show you exactly why that is. First off, the phone's going to ring, and you need to answer it. And as I mentioned before in the previous video, when you're on the script, you have to just learn to talk slowly and be more relaxed, because that's typically what runs people off. And if you've been using the script and you qualified and set these appointments with the script, then you're going to be on an appointment to do a presentation so that you can convert these appointments to clients. That's really the goal. Set appointments, get signatures. Set appointments, get signatures. But sometimes people aren't ready to have an appointment with you right away, so you have to spend the time to nurture these leads. So basically, you just have to follow this process. Once the phone rings, you answer. If you can't answer, then you need to call back within 3 to 5 minutes or have some program that'll do it for you. Understand that 80% of home searchers work with the very first agent they talk to. So if you don't answer the phone quickly, typically someone else is going to give them a call, or they're going to reach out to someone else. And then when that happens, guess what? You're going to lose probably the first 20% of business, which is usually the low-hanging fruit that's ready to do something right away. Well, if you want the business that's going to need help right away, you're going to have to answer your phone right away. Kind of a simple concept, right? But from there, there's 80% of the folks who aren't ready right away. They don't need you right now. So what happens to those folks? Well, they go into an autoresponder campaign, and whoever contacts them when they're ready will get their business, unless you have some type of campaign that's going out and letting them know that when the time comes, they need to reach back out to you. You stay top of mind. And how does that work? Well, again, that's in the follow-up. If they don't answer, you might want to wait 2 minutes and give them a call back. My understanding is that when people put on the do not disturb function, if you call back within 2 minutes, it'll actually notify them that that number that was not allowed to go through the first time will actually come through the second time. Even if it doesn't, you still want to make that call 2 minutes later, call back. If they don't answer, leave a voicemail. And if you had a system do that, it'd be even better, right? Text and email. You can leave a voicemail, then text them and email them. That would be the best of both worlds while you're actually trying to reach this person the first day. But we have a system that does that, and that's the automation that we're talking about. If you had a CRM that did all this for you, I can pretty much promise you that it would increase your pipeline by 500%, which pretty much doubles your conversions and saves you hundreds of hours of screening prospects, so you can do what you need to be doing, which is meeting people every day. Like a saying I heard at one of the seminars that I went to, the more hands you shake, the more money you make. Well, I kind of put a little spin on it, and it's more like the more new hands of clients, hands that you shake, the more money you make. So you need to be meeting new people, whether it's by phone or in person. Once you start shaking hands of new people that are potential clients, that's when you start making the real money. If you're spending all your time trying to work with that one person that you're not sure will get the deal closed, that's not going to help you. And sometimes when you get bogged down trying to help a deal along and close, you're going to need a system of automation to help you get that deal through anyway. Or if you're working to get that deal through, or coordinating things with your team, or putting out fires, what's happening in the background with all those leads that are coming in? So without a lead nurturing system, not only will you miss out on the 80%, and a good percentage of time, you're going to miss out on 20 whenever you have to put a fire out. So you need automation in order to triple your listings. You just have to do it. What it looks like when you have an automated system, it will actually do the texting. It may send out 2 texts. Mine is set up this way. The first text goes out, and it basically lets them know that we are their home search coordinators. The second one goes out and sends out a link for a digital questionnaire, which I'll get into here in a minute. And the third one is a voicemail, then an email. Day 2, just a single text. The company that I work with, we talked to one of their top sales managers, and he made it clear that day 2, a lot of people actually start to see that one text sitting there all morning, and then in the afternoon, and they realize they need to respond. So it's kind of funny because we tested the system to see, it costs a little bit of money, and we were like, well, let's make sure it's worth it. So our response rate using just the first text that I had, which was like, let's say day one text, and then the second text, we were getting about a 30 to 33% response rate. And that didn't really change after day one. So day one, we got the text, and then we added a voicemail, which that system allowed us to do, which ours didn't. And the next thing you know, we're around 30, 35%, no big deal. But the day two text, just like he said, it went from 30 to 35% up to about 50%. Half the people were responding now. And that voicemail does make a difference. We added that voicemail a little bit later, and the percentages went up to 55 to 57%. So we're hovering around 55%, which, that's 25% more. We're over half the people who we send leads to are now responding back to us by the second or third day. So the final part of the sequence is 8 touches in 3 days. The email goes out, the text goes out, and then another voicemail. We usually, by this text on the third day, that's where the 57% comes in. And so when you see a jump from 30 on day one to 45 to 50 on day two, and then 57% by day three, that's when you realize your software is worth it. And it's answering these phone calls for you. It's basically taking the text messages and turning them around for you. The great thing about this system is that once they respond to any one of these texts, it stops and it doesn't send them anymore. Most of the campaigns or autoresponders that I've used, even if you were to set this up, it continues to text them. And then a lot of times, once they recognize it's automation, then they don't want to talk to you anymore. So the best thing about this is once they engage, you can jump in the process and do your thing from there. So you got to understand that when you're working with any client or when they're calling or reaching out to you, you have to contact them quickly. And if you're not using automation, you cannot handle massive amounts of leads. So it's great that if you use some of the techniques that I've shared with you and you start gaining momentum with folks, but unfortunately, if you don't have a system of automation to help you, then that's not any good. The system we use is Agent Legend, and I will include a link here for you to reach out and talk to them. John Huber is the agent that I work with, and he's going to basically talk to you one-on-one and help you get this system set up and going. So with that, I'm going to come back in the next video and talk to you about why the fortune is in the follow-up, why follow-up is so important. As you can see here, it's 1 to 12 contacts. I'm going to tell you what it looks like as you go through each one of these different contacts, what type of percentages it's changing by the time you reach out to that person 8 times, when the average person reaches out maybe 3 or 4 and then they give up. So with that, I'll be back on the next video and share with you why the fortune is in the follow-up.